Hey everyone, welcome to Augmented Reality, taking a critical look at the gaming news of the week. My name is Asheninity. This is a production of the Triple S League. As always, here with Cybsidian.
Hello.
And we also have the Mad Queen back with us once again.
Greetings.
Thank you so much for joining us again. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking a lot about concerns that people have about the way the gaming industry is going with things like microtransactions, well, especially with microtransactions.
Net neutrality.
Net neutrality is a big issue right now as well. There's a big vote in the United States coming up in December, mid-December. So a lot of things to keep our eyes on. But in the midst of all this, there's a lot of eyes on CD Projekt Red right now because CD Projekt Red is one of the major game producers that a lot of people are starting to see as one of the last bastions of large gaming companies that really care about their clientele, their users, the gamers, the people they're making the games for. Everything they do seems to be focused on that, creating a good experience. They came out in response to, not directly in response, but indirectly sort of a response to all of the issues surrounding EA and the microtransactions. We covered that in depth like last week and the week before, so we're not going to go into it again. But they basically said, yeah, we're not going that way. Like, we're leaving the greed to others. We're basically sticking to what we did with The Witcher 3, making a good game. You pay for the game. Now, there was nothing to say directly that there's not going to be microtransactions in Cyberpunk 2077, but it's not going to be this pay-to-win loot box crap that's going on with a lot of other studios right now. But there have been some concerns that have been brought up with regard to, how is CD Projekt Red treating their developers? Are there problems going on with management over there? How well are they treating their employees? And this is sort of based on some online reviews from former CD Projekt Red employees, as well as some interviews with some unnamed employees. Young Ye has been covering this quite a bit. There's been some others as well. We've talked about it somewhat and given our opinions on it in the past, but today we've got Mad Queen with us, who has just put out a video earlier this afternoon discussing some investigative work that she has done of her own initiative. So, Mad Queen, you took it upon yourself to go out and conduct interviews with more than 40 former and current employees of CD Projekt. Is that right?
Yeah, 43.
43. That's a lot of work.
I spent 2 weeks doing anything else with my life than talking to CD Projekt Red people. I'm trying to, because obviously, as you can imagine, not everyone wanted to talk with me.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I did.
So what motivated you to do this?
My reasons are that my working background as an employee comes from an industry that was very similar to gaming, because all high-end creative industries work the same, namely movies, namely advertising, all work the same. And the thing is that in my working life, encountered companies that really, really mistreated employees and really took advantage of the passion for what they were doing. And the truth is that the first time that I saw the first video about Glassdoor, I thought it was bullshit. But then I saw the second video about the experiences of the two developers. And I was tempted to think that it was bullshit too. But then I just stopped and thought, well, what if it was true? What if it was true? Because as I said, I've been in companies that really make you do overtime without pay, made you long crunches with no reasons. Even I saw trying to force an employee to work from home when he was on sick leave for something really grave. And if CDPR was one of the companies that does that, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing so much content about them.
We actually saw that progression in you because on one of the first times you were on the podcast with us, you said, yeah, I think this is nonsense. And then I believe it was actually a couple of weeks ago when you were on with us, you said, well, what if it is true? And now we're at the point where we're at. So you've got some personal vested interest in this. I mean, more than just being a gaming fan and a CD Projekt Red fan, you've worked in similar industries, seen employees mistreated. So it's a personal thing for you as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
You don't want a company that you love to turn out to be doing the same thing.
No, if I was to discover that they were doing the same thing, I just couldn't do more content based on them. And seeing how percentage of my channel is focused on Cyberpunk 2077, that is a game that I think that I'm going to love, I would feel really uncomfortable. And if I would have found out that they were, I could have deleted all my previous content. But I am so glad that I didn't find out that.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know what to do with my channel.
Hi there, I'm the Mad Queen, and this is my puppet.
Yes.
The thing that I've noted too, which has made me really interested in this and keeping a very, very close eye on it, and we went back and forth with you while you were doing the investigation a lot on this. And one of the things that's really important to note is like you, I have had the experience in a lot of these companies, in a lot of companies in general, that had really bad middle management problems, like, really bad bullying problems, really bad taking advantage of employees, giving them subtle threats, and then also like just dumping on them every time that the middle management had an issue, or anytime that they were in trouble, they would just dump on some employees, and made it really stressful, made it really difficult, and brought in a significant risk factor as far as like depression, and even in some cases we've had to deal with like suicide risks, because middle management doesn't know how to either de-stress or to de-escalate issues. So not to say that is exactly what's going on here, but when you hear about this stuff, this is what I think of, and this is how I react, and I get really, really worried when I hear that kind of stuff.
Well, the thing is that when you talk about high-end creative industries, there's a lot of pressure there. There's regular crunches always. There's a lot of overtime and a lot of pressure. And I know I said it twice because there's a fucking lot of pressure. So it is more or less normal that under this pressure, sometimes people is not as respectful as they should be. But there's a limit for everything. I understand that if in a moment of super tension that happens once in a year, I have someone above me that, I don't know, raises his voice. I don't like it, but if it happens once a year, I can understand that it's for the pressure. But we need to set a limit here, because one thing, as I said, is you understand that it's the pressure of the moment, but if in general you feel mistreated, then it's a problem with the company, not with the industry.
Mm-hmm. If it's ongoing every single day, yeah, that's got to wear on you. And you both have talked about why you care about this issue, and I'll just throw my 2 cents in here. And I care about it as a gamer. As I sit down to play a game and am really loving and enjoying a game, I don't want to be thinking like some guy worked himself almost to death to get this, and neglected his family, and stressed himself out to the point of depression or health problems. I want to know that the people that made this game were well treated by their company. If it's giving me many hours of enjoyment, it is an important thing for me to know that the employees are taken care of. And when we look at the summary you did in your video of all of these interviews, by the way, I encourage everyone, if you haven't seen that yet, pause this now and go watch Mad Queen's video, and then come back here to hear the rest of our comments about it, because it's fantastic. Like she does a whole breakdown of all the interviews she did, and categorizes the information, and there's direct quotes from a lot of people. What emerged for me, the conclusion I took away, is that CD Projekt Red really is a company that wants to look after its employees and treat them well. And the reason I say that is because you look at what happened when they basically had a windfall from the sales of The Witcher 3. It did very well, did better than their expectations.
One game of the year, I think that's
yeah,
it's better than most of your expectations you can make. So
what happened when they got all of this success? Well, they shared that with all the people who created the success. So all the developers. So everybody got raises, everybody got nice bonuses. In some cases they got like over a year's worth of salary in a bonus check. Like that's unbelievable. I applaud them. Like I seriously applaud CD Projekt Red for doing that. That shows that they're a company that wants to hang on to the best talent, and that they do want to take care of their employees. But there were some problems that emerged as well. So I guess I'll let you take it here. What were some of the problems that you heard from multiple people that you interviewed?
Well, almost all of them, even if they don't consider that a problem big enough to leave the company, believe that the way that they do games is too chaotic, in a sense that there's a lot of features that are introduced in the game that are not well thought, at least not thought enough. This makes that developers do a lot of overtime, one batch to implement the feature that is useless and another batch to remove it. And it seems that it happens constantly. And I only kinda understand this way of doing things, because if they do so much pressure, sometimes stopping and thinking things can be difficult, which is so important in a creative company, and even more in a company where they have so many developers working in so many different aspects of the game, and all the game needs to follow the same vision. So it's important that everybody follows the same direction. That's why I've heard way too many complaints that I need to say that depending on the department of the people, not all departments work the same. But in several departments, I heard that they are having a problem with the middle management, because it seems that they don't have the level of expertise needed to be in that position. And second, they don't listen to the people who has this level of expertise. And they are given total freedom, total creative freedom, and this freedom sometimes is not used with responsibility, in a way that they sometimes give orders about features without being well thought, without being well studied. Probably if a feature they want to implement, they just stop and think about that feature, they would realize that it's useless, and they wouldn't put like 50 people working on that feature. They wouldn't put like 50 people working on that feature.
That's a lot of time and resources going into something that's kind of a whim, almost.
Well, in one hand, I am glad to see that they don't mind putting all the resources needed to make a better game, because this is something that is done because the person that gives the order really thinks that this is going to make the game better. So the good faith is there. It is the part that I like. But it gives problems. It seems that it gives a lot of problems. And they seem that not all the middle managers go in the same direction with the vision. Because it was weird, because in the video about the two developers that were complaining, most of them told about Adam Badowski being a person who was constantly changing his mind. And I didn't hear a single person that told me that. All of them said, no, Adam had very clear ideas. The problem is, the people that were supposed to make these ideas come true didn't follow the same path.
Right.
And this made the project wander.
So it was sort of the people below him that were going off in their different directions, and then this was causing some chaos for the people below them.
A lot of chaos. I mean, everybody agrees that there's chaos. Everybody agrees that there's chaos, but some are fine with that and some are not. I mean, it's different views of the same problem. For some, that is unthinkable, is a very unprofessional way of doing things, and for others say, well, I have other things that I can't complain about, like we are really well treated, we are making awesome games, so I'll try my best to deal with the chaos. But they all agree that there's chaos there.
That would be an issue for me. I could see that if I was working in a place like that. I know I do come from a creative background as well, where I was working in the creative department of a large company that was not a creative company at all. It was an industrial company, but I was working in the creative department, creating e-learning and stuff like that. And yeah, every decision we made, it had to be calculated. We had to do a cost-benefit analysis, even just a quick one, so we could say, yes, we think this would be a good idea, and then our manager would say, okay, you can move forward with that. And that was like a small 10-person department. There was still a degree of chaos. So to have an entire company operating like that, making such a huge project, I would have issues with that.
It's important to note that this is something that I didn't say in the video, and I should have said so. Most developers, instead of being angry with that chaos, are sad, because they believe if things were done with more order, they would have done a game even better than the one they did. Some really believe that the games can be even better if they put some order in the studio.
I would agree with that statement. They probably could make the games even better, or make them as good in a shorter period of time. So, of the people you interviewed, how many were former employees and how many were current?
It's more or less half.
About half and half. Was there any difference?
More or less half worked in Cyberpunk. Still working there, more or less 35%.
Okay. Was there any identifiable difference for the people who were still working there or had just recently left versus the people that left right after The Witcher 3? Were they saying different things at all? Like, had anything changed from then until now?
Well, the people that stayed, once The Witcher 3 was released, then they had 2 teams of managers, and they tried to make them work together. And for more or less several months into 1 year, they were battling each other to take control of the project. And some developers left at that moment because they thought that it was impossible that things went better.
They were calling it the Game of Thrones, right? That's what you said in the video.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones. The Game of Thrones is how they call the battles against middle management to escalate positions within the company. Mm-hmm. And this is like juicy gossip from the company. I didn't want to enter into gossip, but I find it unusual because that middle managers can do that. Mean that the level of trust that the company is putting on them is really high, because otherwise there would be much more control, and any of this would happen. The
company is very recently expanded, though, right? Haven't they added quite a bit of staff since The Witcher 3?
It seems that they're still expanding the team.
Right. So I wonder how much managerial inexperience plays into this, because if you're suddenly going from a relatively small company to a relatively larger company, like if you're expanding by 50% or 100% even, you're going to have more managers. And you mentioned that trusted people within the company were being moved into management positions because the company trusts them, not because they were necessarily had good management skills. So I wonder how much inexperience plays into this.
I think in this case, the inexperience is not the main reason. The main reason that you get this kind of stuff is because of people's, personal pride and their, them wanting to show up other people, I think.
But some developers also pointed out to this inexperience, because they pointed out that there were some managers who were in the company forever and they didn't work anywhere else. Which means that they lacked the experience. They were heads of teams that were more experienced in management and in managing teams and in developing than managers that were in that position because the company trusts them. I believe that is normal. If you want someone to manage your company, you want someone you really can trust in a personal level, not only in a technical level. But if you're aware of that, then what you need to do is listen to the experts.
Right. So even if you're in a management position, and there is something to be said for that company trust thing, the value of having a trusted employee in a management position. I definitely respect them desiring that. But as a manager,
have to earn that respect every day.
As a manager, I feel like you don't know more than everybody else on your team in their given areas of expertise. Like, you're going to have people who are experts in specific things that they know more about that thing than you as a manager know. And you've got to listen to your team. I used to have my manager all the time asking me, like, what's the best way to go about this? What do you think we should do? And I had some of my suggestions went all the way up to the heads of the tech department in the company. Like, we want to support this technology because this would allow us to do such and such with our training programs. So a good manager listens.
Yes, but it's also a limit for that, because when you're a manager, you have to be careful, because employees also need to trust you and need to trust that you know what you are doing. And I can assure you, as a person with experience in a management position, that every time you just need to look like you know what you are doing, because you really don't know. But in the end, everything goes right.
Granted, and you're in a position where there's a lot riding on the decisions.
Maybe if you ask too much, what's the better direction to go? Maybe you're afraid that your employees will think, well, the lower level employees will think that you don't know where you're going, that you're adapting. And you really need to give that impression that you really know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. But you're responsible for the vision at that point and the general direction, right? It's not necessarily a case of, here's how you have to write your code like this, right? It's more of a, here's what the end product has to be. There might be a variety of different avenues to get there, or here's our options, let's have someone do research to find out if this will actually be a decent idea, if this will be a successful idea before we implement it. I get your point that managers, you have to sort of command that respect and command that level of control. But I think that doesn't mean that does not mean you should be closed off to suggestions, feedback, or asking your subordinates questions even from their level of expertise on a particular subject. If you pretend you know everything when you don't actually know everything, it's doing everybody a disservice, and everybody knows you don't know everything anyway. So,
and in the cases that I've seen up close and personal, we had several cases where one manager wanted the promotion over top of the other managers who were in the position to get that promotion as well. And so what ended up happening is you had this extreme blood sport where some managers would openly sabotage other managers and other people below those managers for the sake of just making themselves look better. So that's an extreme case, and that's not necessarily
we're not accusing
present here, but
we're not accusing anybody of doing that.
It's stuff like that can, again, it creates that environment that's just not healthy to work at. Period.
all of the fallout from that falls on the people that are below the managers then, and that seems to be what these employees that you interviewed were expressing. By the way, did you interview anyone who was in a management position there?
Nope.
So it was all the
none of them wanted to talk with me.
Okay.
Well, in fact, I was aiming for developers, but even though I tried, I wanted to find them and to ask them for their opinion, but none of them wanted to talk with me. So, I won't have their version.
It would be great if anyone from CD Projekt Red is listening. Anybody in management, we'd love to do an interview and get another perspective on this, either with us or with Mad Queen. That would be fantastic.
The big thing that we want to focus on here is that things were apparently pretty rough at some points, but they are getting better. Mm-hmm. From the staff that you talk to that are still there, most of them have said, correct me if I'm wrong, that things are improving in that regard. Is that correct?
Yes, things are improving in that regard, and I am so sad that I committed not to make any comments about the production, because I would love to say a couple of things to all the people that is listening to this and was worried about the future of Cyberpunk, but they are doing well. They are doing really well.
Good.
There is definite, really solid progression on this title, and I believe now more than ever before that this is definitely going to be another Game of the Year candidate for sure. But we want to stress that when you make a team that does good work, you want to make it so that they don't give you everything in exchange for that. It's never good when somebody's so stressed out that they can't even focus on, normal family and life stuff. And we really want to encourage CDPR to take a really close look at those kinds of issues and make sure that they're not running people, into a wall over and over and over again. We know that there's been some significant problems now. We for sure have seen that. It's really kind of done a little bit of damage here and there, and a lot of damage for maybe some people's sanity. But the fact that they're getting better is a very good sign. And we want to encourage that more than condemn, the previous stuff.
Absolutely. And to that end, Mad Queen has produced a statement, which we also had some input on and gave some help on, but the content of it is all her. But we stand behind it 100%. If you're watching the video version of this, it'll be appearing on the screen right now. Basically saying, we love CD Projekt Red. We know they put out great quality products. We trust that they're not going to go down the road of some companies recently that are basically turning their model over to pay-to-win loot crap. That's the best name for it. I'm going to call them loot craps from now on.
Loot crap and casinos.
Loot craps. No more loot craps, please. So we trust them not to go down the road of money-grabbing loot box stuff. But we just want to encourage them to take care of their employees, the developers, the programmers, the engineers who work on these amazing projects that we get so much enjoyment from. Our hope is that this gets to every employee at CD Projekt Red, so we just want to ask everyone listening to take a moment, go to Twitter, tweet at CD Projekt Red with the hashtag #WeCanWait as a show of support for the people that are working very hard on Cyberpunk 2077. You can use the statement graphic if you like. There will be a link to it in the description, or you can put it in your own words. But we see in CD Projekt Red a company that is doing so much right, and we don't want to let this problem get in the way of their future success and of them being an example that we can hold up in the industry and say to the other studios, this is what we respect. This is what we like. This is what it looks like when a game company respects gamers. And it's as important to support the studios that are doing things right as it is to express our discontent to the studios that are not doing it right. So please let CD Projekt know that we support them, that we want them to take good care of their employees. #WeCanWait. Thank you so much for joining us, Mad Queen, and thank you for putting all that work in and producing that video. Everybody, if you haven't seen that, go and check it out. There's tons of good information. It is firsthand gaming journalism, and we certainly appreciate all of Mad Queen's work on that, and we think this is an important issue, which is why we've dedicated today's podcast to it. Thank you so much, Mad Queen, for joining us today, and thank you as always to Cypsidian. This has been a production of the Triple S League. Check out our YouTube channel for game guides, reviews, music videos, comedy, all kinds of other things. If you appreciate this weekly content, there's a way to support us that doesn't cost you a thing. It's called Gawkbox. You can go there, tap the icon on your screen on your mobile phone, or go to the link in the description. Download a free app. We get a kickback from that. We'd really appreciate it if you did that. We also have a Patreon if you're interested in going that route. On behalf of Cyb and the Mad Queen, my name is Ash. We will talk to you next week.